Hello, everyone. Welcome to Alien's Joy today. I am so glad to be here. I am glad to see you. If you're watching on Roku, Apple, Amazon, welcome as well. Today, we're going to talk love again. This is the third week and it's February. And I just today wanted to talk about the different phases of love. And yeah, I mean, we all have that, right? We just all have a little bit of a love dictionary when it comes to the variety of meanings of the world, the word love, the different faces of it. So let's discuss some of these things. What is love? Really? What is it? So we're going to talk about that today. Welcome to Alien's Joy, the art of transformation. We're diving today into the many faces of love. There's self-love, there's deeper relationships. How do you know that you're with the one, the truly and only one? How do you know? It's not always just about romance, right? It's about knowing yourself, self-acceptance, connection, growth. All these phases and all these facets of love are really important. So let's dive a little bit into that. I am Eliane. I am a executive coach and I help people from stuck to unstoppable. Also from, if you're in, I help you out, right? If you don't feel good, if you have a lot of complicated things going on in your life right now, if it's events or happenings around you, or you just don't feel good yourself, you're not really stepping into awareness, you're not stepping into confidence, call me and reach out, elionhaan.net. So I work with a lot of people on a variety of things. And one of these things is love, relationships, and communication. And there are just different phases to it, right? I mean, it's not just about romance, like I said. It just, there's passion for things. There's that self-love and acceptance. That love for self is very important. We have love for friendship, for friends, love for the work we do. There's companionship with others, right? There's a certain different phase of love there. And then there's unconditional love. Most of the time, you get that from your pets for sure, from your children. Absolutely. So these are things, hopefully, that you experience as well in your life, right? So let's go a little bit into the different phases that you experience. And I tell you that I definitely experienced them. For instance, when I was younger, I was the one who was waiting for happiness, waiting for somebody to fill that void. I wanted to be seen, I wanted to be heard and accepted. I wasn't really in a good place of self acceptance and self love. Honestly, I wasn't really aware of it. I wasn't really brought up with the idea of, let's dive deep into self. Let's get to know yourself, get to know your strength, your values, the things that are important for you, the things that you might want to share with somebody in love. I just thought, right, and many of us do that when we're young. If we find a husband and a house and, we start a family, then we find that happiness and we find that ultimate rewarding life. And that is not always the case. Sometimes we just have to take a little bit more time. In my case, I had to find out that it was not about waiting on somebody. It was not about things that were going to make me happy or other people. When you're young, you're always comparing. You're constantly comparing. Oh, they are getting married. Oh, they found a job. They bought a house. My friends, have it, together. They're doing everything according to what we call the cornerstone of society, right? Just growing up and starting to find a career after your studies, or starting to work, accumulate money, buy a house, start a family, these things after you find the perfect one. It is not always working like that. And I found out the hard way because I was really living into a perspective of a framework of living up to other people's visions, living up to other people's expectations, trying to find out why I was always in a waiting mode. I wasn't really taking action myself. I wasn't really aware that my thoughts were so important, that knowing myself and accepting myself the way I am was so important. So infatuation, infatuation, difficult word here that I'm trying to pronounce. Infatuation is versus, right? Deep love is a whole different stage that you're going through. And in the beginning, if you feel that you're in love, I love that feeling, honestly. right? But we can't stay there forever. Although I would love to stay there forever. And I think that that is kind of my forever thing right now. I can feel in love. I can feel in love all the time. The way that I have my life right now, with my partner is just amazingly filled of love and mutual respect. But it had to evolve over time, and that is because a couple of times I went back to the same pattern. I had to get to know that pattern and see that pattern, and I wasn't really aware of that. So again, I wasn't really knowing myself very well, and I didn't really know what to do in a relationship, how to make it grow. And when I found out in a previous relationship, for instance, now decades ago, but I had to grow up and grow into that, get to know yourself. And at the same time, we kind of grew apart, right? Because there's challenges and growth. And if you don't do that together and you can talk about it and you can communicate it, then and you don't have patience to communicate and to work through it, then and work on your self-awareness, then that growth does not find place for two people at the same time. So when you see challenges, right, you get out of the first couple of years and the challenges starting to happen in life. It might be financial, it might be spiritual, it might be careers, jobs, money. It might be, how do you feel in your me time, in your free time? What are you going to do for that self-care? And do you have time to do so? If you have babies, if you have young children, where do you connect and where do you find that time with self? So these challenges are definitely finding place in your late 20s, 30s, 40s, maybe even. That we're just really having to put the work in the relationship if we want it to work, right? And that takes self-awareness. And then we can both grow if both people are able to connect and to really want to do this, right? If we both want to work on that, it's really important. And that center, or that more feeling centered, when you come to get to know yourself and being in a better place, knowing again your values, the things that you want in life. Where do you want to be in 5, 10, 15 years? If you get to know that feeling, then love, if you can share that, is growing into a mature state of love. And then you feel safe, right? You can freely say what you want. You feel deeply connected and you feel that somebody is with you because they love you for who you are. And it is so important because now, hopefully, you are truly yourself. You're a being whole. You're a being very, very in a very good place with yourself. You're being love. You're being happiness. You're being peace. You're being okay. And actually, it's kind of a phase, as I always like to say when it comes to relationship work, it is really a phase where you can really take care of yourself. So you don't really look like I did in my previous life to look for somebody who takes care of you. You can take care of yourself in so many ways that frees you up to look for somebody that you want to be with and to connect and to grow with somebody that you want to be. And they are also very self-sufficient, right? They can take care of themselves. You can, of course, make little things happen, right? I take care of this when you take care of that in the relationship. That is not the point. It is just a point that you are stronger and you feel safer with yourself. You're feeling free. You're feeling in a good place. You have found your spiritual connection, right? You know that you're always safe and supported there. In my case, that is God. In my place, that is God and my connection with, my higher purpose. Just knowing that I am in a good place and everything is meant to happen to me. How do you know that you're in the right relationship? Let's go step into that a little bit. Again, do you feel seen? Do you feel safe? Do you feel heard? Do you feel supported? Are you listening to each other? And are you taking time, quality time in your relationship to listen to each other? It's really important to have the date night or to connect and deeply set your being to being a listener. Set yourself to be a listener so that when you can ask each other, questions about life. Where do we go together? What do we want to do next? What do we want to look forward to? Do we want to move, change? Do we want to have a different job? What can we do with our family? All these questions. You don't get always the same question or the same answers if you're open to listening, right? And normally the dynamics is a little bit, yeah, we know each other, we know what he's going to say, we know what she's going to say. Um, but in this case, we want to kind of listen to what lies behind the thoughts, the words. What are we communicating? And are you able in that right relationship to be your true self and you don't feel judged and you don't feel fear of judgment? You don't feel fear at all. You can be truly, truly your true self. You enjoy you. You enjoy being with you. That is really important. And now somebody else comes in and really enjoys being with you as well. And you can feel that energy in the relationship, right? And another thing that I value so much is that my partner, husband, right? And if it's your wife, it's your husband, do they encourage your growth and happiness in that space, right? Do they encourage that you're just needing time for yourself? Sometimes do something for yourself, sometimes go to a place where you can grow with others, sometimes take a course, a workshop, go to friends, do something on your own as well. Is that supported? Do you have that space to grow together and to grow by yourself? And towards that happiness, towards that inner peace, can you do that with somebody who fully loves that? And then the last thing that I find so important, I talked about that in my book, 60 Miles from Neiman's, that I wrote a couple of years ago. It became a bestseller. It's a fun book to read. Is there mutual respect? Is there mutual trust? And again, is there that really, really open communication that we can have together? Respect is so important for me because if you don't feel respected or you don't feel that you can respect your partner in a relationship, then there's something broken. And with respect or lack thereof, so to speak, when you start feeling that you're not looking up to somebody, that you don't really respect a certain thing that they're doing, if you feel that, then what's going to happen is that you're gonna hold on to anger and resentment. You're gonna resent that. You're gonna fester that, and that is not a good place to be, right? You know that because you're gonna slowly build that up, and that's gonna just ultimately uh, um, uh, come out, right? You just really don't like each other so much anymore, or you're really standing different in the relationship. You're fighting a lot, you're angry a lot. And then again, we have to look at ourselves. We forget to look at ourselves. We like to throw the blame out there, but we have to look at ourselves and see if we're standing in it from a place of love and honesty and respect toward each other. And if that's not the case, then we have to really bring it out in the open and really dare to have those difficult conversations. And that takes courage to have these difficult conversations. So again, let's bring it all back to ourselves. The most important relationship you can have is the one with yourself. And if you feel that you're in a great place, you can take care of things. You can take care of yourself. You like hanging out with yourself. You really like yourself. You really love yourself. If you accept that and you accept your relationships as they are, and they come to you because in that energy and that bright shine around you, right? You're already in this place of great happiness. If somebody comes in it, then that comes from a place of respect and you find somebody who is in that same place, right? Self love is not selfish. It is absolutely the foundation of all great relationships because if I feel and know myself and accept myself and value the things that I value and love the things that I stand for, and I know my strength and I know what I want in the future, and I have ideas in my bucket list, right? And things that I would love to do and love to do with somebody who's also really able to take care of himself or herself, then in that case, I can grow really a loving foundation in a relationship. It is really a good place. So get to know yourself the love relationship with yourself. Do you love yourself and how you stand in life? And if that's the case, you can start a relationship from a place of honesty, communication, respect for each other, trust, right? And really encouraging growth and happiness, both being true self, and leave each other alone. You know, when it's not something that you want to throw up right there, or just sometimes you just don't like it, it's okay. Let other people be themselves without having to change somebody else, because that, I learned, is not possible. I learned that absolutely. That is not possible to change somebody else if they don't want to change. And it is not your job. So, again, just to kind of speak in the words of Mel Robbins, right? Let everybody do what they're doing. If they're getting married before you, it's okay. If they're having a job or a career or a house or a car or kids, and you're not there yet, and you've done all that and they're not doing that, let people be. And even in your relationship, that is the same thing. Let them be. We're not going to agree on everything. We're not going to like always the same thing. And it's perfectly fine. We don't have to take on each other's energies. I talk about that. If my partner is not in a good place, or is just grumpy, right? Then I don't have to feel grumpy, and I don't have to take it on that I am the cause of that either. I can just step away, do my own thing, right? And make it a happy day anyway, so that that person can actually come back in your energy and in your space. Because we don't have to feel responsible and we don't take anything personal. That is so important. So I hope you see a little bit with me that maturing is actually fun because I get to love myself better. I'm in a better place. I'm in a place of peace and happiness. I'm in a place of self-awareness, growth, and getting to know even more all the time about myself. And I love that self-mastery. And if that brings you in a really good place with love for yourself and acceptance, just the silly way you are, with all my silly things and all my awkward moments. And then you step out there and you have the courage to let somebody love you for all these ups and downs, right? For all these things, awkward, funny, sometimes really a little bit weird, all that. If you can be yourself and you can open up, standing in a relationship of trust and mutual respect, then you're in a great place and you can grow together. And I wish that for you. I wish that for you. If you need to talk about this, really come on down, elionhaan.net. Find me. I always have, this month, just in the love month in February, I have 2 hours of free coaching for you. So if you want to come, just listen and let's talk about it and let's hack it out a little bit. Anything that you're struggling with, anytime. And I love that you're watching today. Thank you so much for being here. Let's step into that love for the rest of the day. I love you and I hear you. Have a great rest of the day. Make it an amazing day. I'll see you next week. Namaste.